Hi, it's Double1975, and today I'm bringing you a longer game of chess than I would normally bring you, but then I've speeded it up, so we've kind of compensated. This was a good sort of 17-18 minute long game. This was quite tricky. I made some mistakes late on with the time pressure. I allowed myself to get forked in a stupid position. Generally, I just made some errors as I was trying to rush towards the end. And my opponent made a couple of mistakes as well, which I kind of capitalized on. It turned into a very tough, tricky little ending, and I thought it was quite entertaining, so I thought I'd bring it to you. And I wanted to discuss with you something that I find interesting when it comes to chess. When I used to coach chess and teach kids how to play chess, one of the things we constantly noticed, my dad and me, when we first started getting into coaching and he started coaching other kids as well as me, was most kids would learn chess by learning every trick, dirty trap, quick checkmate they could. And generally we found that kids at the lower levels of tournaments, just all they knew were traps and trick openings. They only knew fast checkmates. They had no sort of in-game nous, no tactical sense, sometimes no understanding of why they were doing things. They were just, I'm doing that because it's part of the trick. And what we did was avoided teaching our kids anything like that. One of the things we always taught them was, by like lesson 3, we taught them an opening, which we taught them the Ruy Lopez declined opening, which sounds complicated, but basically it's a 4-knight setup with the king, castle and king side. Anyone who's seen it, it's a king side opening. It's a very sensible, solid defensive opening. You'll see it a lot. It's what the opening that I generally use if I'm white, because obviously if I'm black, I'm playing whatever opening fits what my opponent has played. But it's the opening I usually adopt if I play white. Occasionally I will pull out and do the London opening, but that's something that I'm not that familiar with, but I was doing a lot when I was younger, because it allows some aggressive lines, and I was always a bit of an aggressive player. But there's nothing wrong with being an aggressive player, and I'm not saying you shouldn't look to attack your opponent, but you shouldn't base your entire strategy around tricks. And this is the danger. So a lot of kids did this. They would learn 2 or 3 traps, and that would be the end of it. That's all they would think to learn. Now, from my point of view, I had to coach these kids to get a good understanding of the game, so they didn't get caught by these traps. And we had a way of teaching that was basically give our kids the way of reading what the trap is and reading the intent in people's moves, and giving them that tactical understanding and know-how. And occasionally, very rarely, one of our kids would get caught out by a trick or a trap, but we'd always make sure they learned from it. And that's the thing. I mean, if you're going into a game of chess and all you know is tricks, traps and fast checkmates, you're going to get beat the majority of the time. It would be like going into a boxing match and only training for round 1, and having no concept of what you do when you don't knock the guy out in round 1. And someone who teaches people how to counter things properly, develop their pieces properly, and have an understanding of what they're trying to accomplish is going to do better than someone who just learns dirty tricks and cheap tactics. So I would basically say chess is no place for shortcuts. I'm afraid you're going to have to learn how to play if you want to be good. You can't just learn a few tricks and wheel them out all the time. And here you see the result of time pressure. I don't take the bishop when I should have done. I don't know why. Yeah, chess clock makes you do funny things. But anyway, this was a fun game, even though I did make a couple of mistakes. But anyway, that's all for this video. Like I say, try not to base your game around a few tricks. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much for watching.